Well, today looks kind of weird. Sell off on some things. Kind of an interesting day. Bitcoin sold off. I know that a little bit. I mean, it's back to 96 and a half. But yeah, no, I wish I bought that dip on Tesla for sure. I even talked about it. I said sub 380. I would like to buy it. It it went under 380 for about 5 minutes or so. Hit 378, and that would have been the bottom. So is what it is. We ended up hitting 410 today, 409.73, but still all-time high is 414.50, I think. Call it 415. So we're right there. I I have a feeling we're going to break 415 by Christmas time, I would bet. Maybe even tomorrow. I mean, it's to me, it's like any day now, unless the whole market pulls back. So, I don't know. There's a couple of things we could talk about regarding that. I mean, you guys have probably heard like Santa Claus rally before, but overall market's been like insanely strong, right? So, you can't really call it a Santa Claus rally. However, there are people that do, like big banks and hedge funds and wealth managers and stuff like that. They will sometimes they'll sell stock coming into the close of the year. There's some tax reasons. Sometimes it's just to kind of take some profits, put some cash on the side coming into a new year, not to mention a new presidency. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a bit of a pullback in the market, coming into the close of the year. I'm not talking anything major, like anything crazy, but yeah, tax loss harvesting. Yeah. Um, so there could be some more selling pressure to me that just makes me a little hesitant on trying to force these all-time high breakout trades, like especially Tesla. Like to me, the other day we ended up catching it, and I told you guys, I'm worried there's going to be a pullback. We caught it on this day to the upside, which I was happy with. I mean, I literally sold the peak of the day, but I was worried something like this would happen, and it did. So it was smart to be careful yesterday, but as you can see, things just got bought right back up. So we're seeing aggressive dip buying. On the other hand, I think that it's smart to not try to go for any crazy home runs right now. I think buying dips is okay, but part of the reason why I didn't want to like jump into Tesla yesterday on the dip was, really because, you know, if it dips for like 1 hour and gets bought up, to me, that's not necessarily a dip, right? That's not like it closed just, a little bit red. Um, and, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking that things could continue to sell off a little bit, or they may just kind of go flat, right? There's going to be people trying to buy, any sort of dip. Market's been strong, right? Bull market. There's going to be buyers regardless, but there's also going to be people selling stock, like I just talked about, right? Banks and stuff that just have tons and tons of shares that, I mean, they're not going to be trying to short things or try to make the market come down, but there's going to be a lot of supply in the market, meaning there's going to need to be a lot more buyers to not only keep things up, to make things go higher. So I would rather miss out on, a little bit of a move higher than try to force it and, get caught caught like a fake out or some sort of like bull trap. And, and then be the guy trying to buy every dip I can find. And that's typically where things keep going down and you keep buying that dip. So that could just, that could put you into in scenarios where you can really lose a lot of money, and no one should be trying to do that. No one should want to do that coming into the end of the year. Coast right now. If you had a bad year, that doesn't mean you need to try to get all your losses back. If you had a really good year, that doesn't mean that you should try to double it or go for anything crazy. I think definitely the next like 100 days, the next year will be pretty crazy, right? Changing powers, new policies. Uh, crypto is going to be pretty exciting, I think, the next year or two. So, there's no reason to there's no reason to blow your account ever. But most importantly, right now, before the end of the year and before a lot of action could take place here pretty soon. But anyways, for anyone that's new, this is my free lesson once a week. So you're more than welcome to ask any sort of questions you want, any sort of tickers you want me to look at. I would appreciate you not just throwing XYZ at me. I would, if you have a ticker, throw that in, say, I'm long or I'm looking to buy here, or this is my trade idea, or a little bit of context definitely helps, because if you just throw a ticker at me, I can look at the chart and give you a brief explanation of what I think. But I am a short-term trader. I'm a scalper, day trader, so I typically look at things on a smaller time frame. So if you have longer term investing stuff, mention that at least. Farouk, you're new again. I thought you were new yesterday. Duco, yeah, no. Marvel Feb 110 calls. What makes you, or Marvel, what makes you like this one? I know you're definitely more on the buy side. Just the tip for sure. But yeah, I mean, I have a gap drawn here. It looks like I drew this pretty recently. They're up on earnings, starting to pull back a little bit. Looks like more so profit taking than people trying to short this. It's hit about halfway into the gap, right about in here. So typically that's a sign of support, it's just statistically. So could be something that, maybe worth buying on a dip. However, the gap doesn't end until about $100. So you're going to have about a $5 to $7 move until 100. So keep that in mind. I would keep a very tight stop loss if you're trying to buy it on this dip. Other than that, I mean, strong company. If it's a chip stock, overall chips are strong. I mean, NVIDIA hasn't done a whole lot. Yeah, you should change your name to buy the tip or buy the dip or something like that. But NVIDIA hasn't done a whole lot. Micron was down today. NVIDIA was down today. But I think overall grand scheme of things, they will continue higher. But keep in mind that NVIDIA, they have some sort of lawsuit going on with China. So that's definitely negative. You got PLTR 100 calls March 25. Okay, so you got some time on those. Did you buy them like today, Farouk, on this dip here? I mean, I think this hit 82 something pre-market yesterday and then dumped like 5%. Just one, yes. Okay, yeah. So, I mean, buying in today is okay. I mean, definitely, I think you could probably see like this uptrend here. So, I mean, it's been strong. However, something this strong, think about how many people have been long this for a while, right? So, again, coming back into people taking profits and selling into the end of the year, just keep that in mind. I think if you see, a daily close under $70, you have till March. So I think you're going to be okay. But again, just consider how far this has gone. But I do like that you bought, after like a $10 dip. So I think that's good. Anyways, yeah, I don't mind that at all. What do you think of net for a swing trade? Okay, swing trade calls, puts. What are you looking at there, Carl? Cloudflare's done pretty good. There's some sort of like, I kind of know what Cloudflare is, but not that much. Again, the stock hit highs of 116 this year. We're right there again, 110, 111. It looks like we hit about 115 this week. So, again, buying a stock, going long, buying calls, whatever you want to say, is, when it's gone on a big move, there's risks there, right? You never want to be a guy FOMOing into something, right? This has gone from 70 to above 110 in a matter of a couple months. So typically when I see that, it's hard for me to want to go long here just because there's a lot of room to the downside. Any sort of bad news can come out, or this can go higher, right? I mean, it's I don't always want to be negative, but from a risk standpoint, you definitely want to be careful. I mean, I could easily see this coming down to around $100 in this area, basing out, and then you kind of get that cup and handle pattern, or maybe you see some sort of bull flag here where it kind of chops back down to $100, and it can create that cup and handle as well. So to me, a safer trade would be to wait for this to come into this area and then try to go long for a move higher. Buying all the way up here to me just leaves risk on the table. But again, if this goes straight through 120 next week and you miss it, you'll probably be mad at me. But again, do what you want to do. To me, from a risk standpoint, I would like this to come back to around 100. Interested what I think about Roku. I'm long since 78. I'm a day trader mostly as well, but setting up some longs. Okay. So, I mean, Roku used to be, to me, a pretty exciting stock. I used to trade it, way back there to the left. I won't zoom out much more, but used to go on a huge run. Then it came all the way back down, really just did nothing in 2023. This year, not a whole lot. We opened up the year around $90. We're under it by about $8. So, to me, Roku's not innovating a lot, right? We all know Roku TVs. Everyone in here probably has a Roku flat screen. And I think we can all agree that they're not creating anything substantial, right? Could they be a solid company, slow growth stock? Possibly, right? But, with AI and how crazy tech has been lately, either they're going to partner with some of these big names, or I think they're just maybe they could be like a dormant stock and just not going to do a whole lot. So to me, would I be jumping at Roku to to invest in long term? I don't know, but again, I'm not much of a long term trader. I don't know much about their income statements, balance sheets, any of the fundamentals. So that's kind of my take on it. Definitely from a day trading standpoint, I'm not super thrilled with it. To me, there's not much opportunity here. It just hasn't done a whole lot. It looks like there was some volume last week. I don't know if that was news or what it was, but other than that, I don't really have much more on that. FITO. MSTR for scalping, please. So I mean, MSTR obviously has just gone insane, right? Just simply because of Bitcoin. They bought, I think they bought close to $5 billion in Bitcoin in one single day. That was kind of back here on this run when it went from 320 to 540. It's obviously kind of come down, gone flat a little bit. Do I think that there's more opportunity to the upside on MSTR? Definitely. Could it come down? I do think that could happen as well. But to me, Gary, if you're a scalper day trader like me, I have no interest in trying to get involved in this. Right? We're sitting in a range. It's just kind of going up and down, up and down, up and down. There's not any breakouts. To me, I'd be interested if it breaks up here above 450 or below like 320, if it kind of breaks down in here. So those two areas, I just wait for. I simply just wait for. You can see that we rejected off 450 once, twice, 3 times. We get up there, maybe Bitcoin goes for like 125,000 or something like that. That's when this could break out. That's when you can, catch some opportunity there. Up or down on RH after earnings. Again, I don't know anything about Restoration Hardware fundamentally. I mean, I know what kind of company they are, but I wouldn't be betting on their earnings. I'm not an earnings gambler. Things could go up or down, especially if you're in options. It's really hard to make money there because of IV, time decay. There's a lot of factors that go into that. Zans, but to me, looking at this from a technical standpoint, I would like to trade it around 400. If it comes down to 370, I would consider trading it there as well. But other than that, I wouldn't bet on earnings. It's not a super volatile company. and you're more likely to lose money gambling on earnings for sure. If you have other questions on that, please ask. All right, let's see here. What else? If you were able to trade Tesla, if you were able to trade that today? So I looked at the price action today. It definitely wasn't my favorite. We have CPI tomorrow, so I would have been pretty hands off. So definitely when I see something gap up, I want to see a dip. You kind of saw one here. Maybe opened up like 392. We hit 391. I probably would have wanted to see lower down here, like sub 390, for me to buy a dip on that early. So I probably would have missed this. Opening move, not much of a pullback here. Didn't even touch VWAP. Went straight up to 400, broke it, pulled back, sat there. Just kind of chopped around here at 400. Maybe when it broke here and pulled back into 400 right at VWAP, to me, like this is a somewhat of an entry there. Just kind of a break and retest. Maybe like you can see a little bit of a bull flag here. I mean, nothing that special to me. So I'm not mad that I missed out on any of this, but to me, like this is the only area where I would have considered trading it. Other than that, I don't see any sort of opportunity here that I could have taken advantage of. So not a day that I'm mad at missing again, but for my style, this is the only area where I think that I would have caught a trade. If this would have gone down, like I said, under 390, I probably would have tried it there. Just try to buy, 400 call on the dip early on, just because this is gapped up. But again, other than that, I don't see a whole lot of opportunity there for me. No clean, safe entries, I think. Bro, I need your genuine advice. I have the JD50 January 17 call. Should I sell it, as I don't see any new policies coming up in China? I'm not a big fan of Chinese stocks, especially swinging them, because the Chinese markets are open when ours are not. And, we don't, unless you're really keeping up with Chinese news or just, overseas news in general. To me, I never want to be exposed to these overnight, unless there's some really significant, like bullish overseas news. I don't like trading these. If you have the 50 calls, I think 50 is definitely a long way to go, especially if you have about a month on these. That's a pretty solid move. One, I don't know why you're in the trade. Two, I don't know what kind of news has been going on with this. Looks like they had some volume yesterday, but sold off a bit today. I don't know. I think if Vedant, I think that if you're ever in a scenario where you're hoping or, looking for any sort of good news you can find to, solidify your trade, it's probably best to get out. Just because that instantly tells me that the trade's not doing what you wanted, whether that's within the time frame that you wanted, or maybe you're down P&L wise, or whatever it is. If you just simply have no plan and you're just holding on to something because you're red, to me it's always best to just get out. As hard as that is, and as hard as it is to accept losing money, it's best to just move on from the trade and stop having ties to it, because if you don't, then you're going to sit there and be stressed out holding on to this position much longer than you should. And, you're going to pay attention to it every day. Like I said, you're going to be stressed out, and it can always get worse, right? If you're down $100 and, you hate that, well, you could be down $200 that much easier, Speaking of bull flag, Clorox broke out of it. Okay. What was up with the sudden drop on Disney after hours? I don't know. I'm guessing there was news there. I don't see any sort of crazy drop today on Disney after hours. I don't see anything here on Disney. Sometimes different brokerages show like random candles, so that may be it. What do I think of MDB as a long-term hold? MongoDB. So I remember trading this over the summer. It looks like it hasn't done a whole lot since. Yeah, I remember trading it, I think around into this gap, I think was my trade there. But um again, I don't know much about MongoDB. It looks like they got hurt pretty bad on their earnings recently. A lot of volume pulling back. This could bleed out a little bit more. We're starting to break an uptrend. So I'm not much of a long-term guy though, Vindant. I would reach out to Shy in our chat or Big Quinch or Pookie's Revenge. Those guys are more long-term traders. So I'm gonna leave it at that for now. Ethan, I screwed up today. I was stupid and didn't sell at the high for 1400 profit. Instead, I waited until nearly end of the day. Yeah, Farouk, I mean, greed is something that everyone struggles with, right? I mean, but again, just knowing you, I've seen you, have your $100 days, $200 days, and seeing that you're up, 100% on some things or over $1,000 on some things, and you're not taking it. That's just to me a mental battle within yourself. Um, to me, it's hard to not take profit when it's over $1,000. Depending on what trade I'm in, if I'm looking for a bigger trade and I think I can make 3, 4, 5,000, then I'll hold it for longer. But considering you're in trading Netflix too, I mean, to me it's a lot of risk there. So I think the easiest way to fix that is to have some sort of profit goal. That doesn't mean that you need to hit that profit goal every single day, but make a rule to yourself. Anytime I'm up, whether it's over 100% or up over $1,000, especially for your kind of style and for as long as I've known you, I think that's a good rule just to get out of it. But Duco made a good point. I'm glad that you sold it for small profit or break even. Again, knowing you, I think that there's been times where you're up really green on something and then it goes break even, you don't sell it, and then it goes red. So to me, that's progress. Let's see what else here. Thoughts on SMCI puts the potential of it being knocked out of the NASDAQ 100. The decision comes on Friday the 13th. I never want to be speculating news like that, just because if it comes out that they aren't getting kicked out, the stock could go up. Obviously, if they do get kicked out of the NASDAQ 100, it can come down. But to me, that's just a gamble, right? That's like a flip of the coin. I think the best thing, if I was forced to take a trade on that news, I couldn't care less about what happens before then. I'm going to be there on the day that it gets kicked out or it stays in, and I will trade the momentum that day, right? I have no interest in taking a position beforehand, trying to speculate on if it's going to be kicked out or stays in the NASDAQ 100. Fast Subi. That's just my take on it, though. I think that's much easier than losing money that you could have just kept if you waited, right? If it goes down, then that day when that news comes out, you can trade puts on it. You can trade, you can short it. You can make money on the downside. If they don't get kicked out and they stay in, maybe the stock goes up. Maybe you can make news on the upside. To me, if they get kicked out, I'd trade the downside. If they stay in, I'm not too interested in the upside. I just think there's going to be a much bigger move to the downside than there would be to the upside. What happened? Oh, it was app glitched. Okay. I bought GXIA and sold at a loss 600 by thinking that I'm going to lose more. Right after I saw the price came back, where I purchased, and now more than $1 for my purchase price. Common man, I mean, it happens. I think that if 600 was too big of a loss for you, then your stop loss should have been much tighter. You should have cut it earlier. Believe me, I've made that mistake before in the past, right? It's just part of trading. And the easiest way to fix that is to have a significant frame and really hard rules that you stick to. Again, if 600 was a lot more than you were planning on losing, that means you didn't stick to your stop loss. And the worst thing you can do now is think that the next trade that you're in that goes further than you wanted it to against you, you're subconsciously going to think that it's going to come back to where you entered, just like this last one or two trades that you're talking about, because that's probably going to be the time where it doesn't come back, and you're going to lose double what you were, down at that moment. So again, guys, you could buy and sell any stock you want. You can walk into any casino you want. You can make or lose as much money as you let yourself. So if you cannot stick to a stop loss, if you cannot practice proper risk management, then you will never succeed at this. That's just the hard truth. If you can consistently make $100, but you can't take $100 loss, and most of your losses are $400 or $500, you're handing the money to the market. And there is no, you're never, ever, ever going to make this work. That's just the, the harsh truth. No matter how much money you put into education or whatever, if you don't have discipline in this, you'll never succeed. And I would much rather you quit and just leave and not do this and go back to your normal job every day than to lose significant amounts of money simply because you can't click a button where you told yourself you would. It's as simple as just following rules. I don't care if you have to write them down. I don't care if you have to put a sticky note on your monitor. You have to do what you have to do. Thoughts about SAD, if you know it. I heard the community is strong. The dev is great, plus a long-term project. Yeah, I mean, I can't talk a ton about it, but I'm in it. I have no plans on selling. It's like it's a kind of a penny boy community coin. None of the admins or anything here have any sort of plans on selling it. We're holding it. Obviously it's public, so anyone can buy it and sell it. But I know that Quench, the dev, has absolutely no interest in selling anytime soon. He wants to see the market cap go well into the millions. So don't put life savings in it. Don't put a massive chunk of money in it. But if you have money that you're willing to put to the side and it's not going to affect your everyday life, even if it's $30, $50, $100, I'm not telling you to buy it by any means, but I'm in it, and I'm not going to touch it for a long time, unless it goes like 100 million market cap or something. Yeah, trading is a mental game. You're a professional mental athlete, I like to say. Oh, is there, Farouk? Cool. I'll hop into that. There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes for that, so I will be at that for sure. Well, Common, the thing is, I would rather you sell at the bottom for a loss and it go up than you not sell and it goes further. You could have easily lost $1,000. What do you prefer to set the stops on options? Which targets, for example, on Thinkorswim, stop or limit? Lately, I noticed that simple stops were triggered way too late. Yeah, sometimes Thinkorswim's a little slow. I don't know if you're on paper money or real live trading or not, but I never set hard stop losses. Well, I don't want to say never, very rarely. Whenever I set hard limit orders, stop losses specifically, it's going to be on swing trades. But even then, most of the time I don't. I never, I know it's hard for some people considering the capital that they may be trading with, but I'm never going to set a stop loss based on P&L. Okay. If you are getting forced out of a trade because the P&L solely, that means that you're in with too much money. Okay. If you don't stick to your stop loss on the chart, like, okay, if Tesla breaks 250, I'm going to sell. If you don't stick to that, then obviously your next stop loss is going to be P&L. But the thing is, the easiest way to not let yourself get into that situation is just by taking your original stop loss. Okay. So, again, I don't want to go on a whole rant here and like get all angry, but again, you will never, ever be good at this, and you will lose all of your money if you just don't stick to your rules. I mean, just like at any other job, you have to do what you're being paid to do. You have to do what your boss is asking you to do. And if you can't stick to your rules here, then, there's nothing else I can do for you. But back to stop losses, typically on my trades, like I kind of know where price will be. I kind of know where my P&L will be around certain areas, depending on how much I'm in and how much room I'm willing to give it, against me or in my favor. So, typically anywhere from 10 to 20, maybe 25% for a stop loss. 25% is pretty big, but if I'm in with a small amount of size, I may give it 25% stop loss. But again, I like to make decisions based on what the chart is doing, because do you really think that a multi-trillion-dollar company is going to care about you being down $500 or $1,000 or $10,000 or $100,000 or $1 million? No, the stock's not going to move because of your emotions or your feelings or your P&L. So once again, hoping, praying, crying, screaming, none of that's going to do anything for you. So stop losses is going to be different for most people, but I think the rule of thumb is you shouldn't be risking more than 1 to 2% of your entire account. Obviously, with accounts under $1,000, it's kind of hard, especially if you're going to be trading options. But I know you mentioned like limit orders. I don't typically use limit orders. I use I want the chart to tell me what's going on. But I'm also a very, very short-term trader. Ducks doing it 5 p.m. Eastern. Cool. Okay. Yeah, see, Duco, and that's where I want everyone to be. All right, I'm all caught up now. What else you guys got? Ooh, they're giving away some coins. Nice. Yeah, I'll join it for that one. 5 p.m. Okay, so it's 4 my time. Yeah, market buying. I never suggest market buying unless you're like scalping something very quickly. What's up, Frankie? So anyways, yeah, unless you're looking to scalp something like in and out in a couple minutes, there's no reason to market buy. What do I think about CLPT? Obviously super, super strong here. Looks like it's in the healthcare sector. I don't know. I mean, this to me was a beautiful breakout, from anywhere from 14 to like 13 and a half to me is a solid resistance. We broke out of that. Looks like there was some sort of news and this squeezed. I have no interest in buying up here, Carl, because this has gone from 13 to almost $18 in a matter of like 2 days. I would like to see it, come back into like this area here, maybe base out a little bit and then make its way back up. To me, that's a much easier trade to enter long in this area. Whoops. Rather than trying to catch a little bit more to the upside, right? Because think about all the guys that are buying down in here or have been long from down here. They're going to be, there's going to be people taking profits up in this area. So you may be buying the shares that they're selling you. They're taking profits. You think it's going to go higher because the stock is ripping, right? That's FOMO. That's emotions. It's like monkey see, monkey do, right? You're being affected by what a green or red line is doing on a computer screen rather than thinking logically, right? And making rational decisions. Frankie, do you sell options? No, I do not sell options. I'm strictly a long side trader, buying puts, buying calls. I have a snow call runner starting February, and I'm down only 1% from the day. My PT is in the bottom 210. What do you think Snowflake in the market is going to react to? I have no idea what the market's going to do tomorrow. I don't want to keep going on like rants and make you guys like think that I'm mad or anything, but when people ask me, what is the market going to do tomorrow? No one knows. And if someone tells you that they know, they're wrong. I mean, they're ridiculous. And I would, early on in my career, I would believe people who would tell me what the market's going to do, thinking that they just had some sort of like magic crystal ball or whatever. And Gabriel, I know that you don't like mean it that way. I'm just kind of trying to make a point here. But once I went and traded with guys who've done it for 40 years, and they said that, no, it's not a stupid question at all. I want to make this point for everyone. Once I traded with guys that have done it for 40 years, and they tell me that their number one rule in trading is that they don't know anything, makes me look at everyone on Twitter or on Instagram, whatever, you know, telling people what the market's going to do, like they just know, and they don't. It's all just to get new traders sucked into believing that they have some magical power on what the market's going to do. The market's going to do whatever it wants to do. Your job is to have a plan and stick to it. And if you can do that, then you can be successful at this. Other than that, you're going to struggle really, really bad. Anyways, snow. So I know that snow's obviously done good recently. I know that Shy likes it. Yeah, it's had a little bit of a pullback lately, but again, I do think snow has a lot of room to run in the future. Let me see what contract you have again for February. If you're only down 1%, again, I don't know what you're risking here. If you can handle a 10% stop loss, to me, there's no reason to just freak out and get out right now. From a technical standpoint, though, I wouldn't want to see it go under 165. You can consider 170 a solid support, but it could come under 170 and bounce, anywhere in this area here. You do have this gap under 161. So, again, under 165, might as well just cut your loss there. But if it can hold in this area and kind of go flat, to me, that's not a signal to get out. Especially if you have, what'd you say, February contracts. You have plenty of time, right? You got 2 months, so I think you're going to be okay, Gabriel's. But yeah, again, not a stupid question at all. These are stuff I want you guys to bring up so I can talk about this with y'all. Do you think pets can go up tomorrow? I have no idea. What's that? PetMed Express. Well, considering it's gone up almost every day for the last 10 days, I think that the odds are it's going to go up again, but I have no idea. I don't know. Volume is definitely spiking a little bit. It's not super high. I don't typically like trading things if they don't do a million volume a day. To me, that's just ridiculous. You're playing with stuff that to me doesn't have a lot of opportunity. And if there's not even a million volume on a $6 stock, that just means that there's just not that attention there. There's not a lot of money there, not a lot of opportunity. Think about how many billions of dollars move around the market every single day. And for a stock that's sub $6 to have less than a million volume, to me, that's not something that I want to be involved in, unless I'm a long-term, investing in this company for a long time. So that's kind of my opinion on it. But from a technical standpoint, again, because that's probably what you want here, from 580 to 6, that's going to be your support if this comes back into this. Other than that, I would just be looking at the highs here, $6.85 and $7. Above that, it looks like we hit about $8 late 2023. So it could possibly get back up there. But again, it could take many, many, many weeks. Do you follow any YouTube stock influencers? For example, Jeremy, Stockmo. I have no idea who those guys are. If I'm going to recommend anyone on YouTube, it's going to be Matt Diamond and Umar Ashraf. Umar Ashraf to me is the best. But I already put in my hundreds of hours on YouTube. A couple years ago, every day watching YouTube all the time. I used to trade with a guy named Nor Trades. I don't really like him anymore. There's a lot of things I know about him that I don't like, but Umar Ashraf is great. I think Clay Trader, different style of trading, but Matt Diamond and Umar Ashraf trade similar to me. But I think that they're very transparent and just realistic guys online. I don't know who Jeremy or Stockmo is. I think Vincent something is good as well. There's so many traders out there, guys, but I don't know. That's my recommendation. Matt Diamond, Umar Ashraf, Clay Trader. Umar with a U. U-M-A-R, Ashraf, A-S-H-R-A-F. Yeah, legally I cannot, even though I'm kind of in the gray area sometimes. Does CPI have a huge impact on stocks, positive or negative? So yeah, CPI does. I don't know if so CPI stands for Consumer Price Index. So basically, and they can kind of manipulate CPI data, but CPI again stands for Consumer Price Index. So think about the I don't know if it's Federal Reserve or who it is, but think about me taking a basket of everyday goods, gas, eggs, bread, whatever, fruit, and I gauge the price of those month over month. So every month CPI will come out. So, when inflation was getting hot and CPI was going up, month after month, the market kept coming down. I think back in 2023, because basically CPI kept going up, meaning that everyday prices of things were going up. That means inflation's going up. So it's just kind of an inflation measurement, just a tip. But yeah, that'll come out tomorrow, 1 hour before the open. And what I will say on that, I mean, look, the CPI is going to go up or down. So no one really knows what's going to happen. I think inflation has cooled. So I think if CPI is negative, I think the market will go up. Do I think it's going to go crazy? No. CPI comes in, really hot, meaning that it's high, it's going up, and the market could come down. The only thing I will say on that from a day trading standpoint is a lot of the times in the recent months, I've seen CPI be good. Market is up pre-market. The market opens and the stock market falls. It kind of just corrects its move from pre-market. Okay, so that's something I'm going to be looking at tomorrow, right? If I'm looking long, CPI has pumped things up. I'm going to be super hesitant off the open. Not going to want to, buy anything too early. And, if I miss a little bit of an upside move early on, so be it. But I'd rather not try to go long in the first 10, 15 minutes. The market kind of peeks its head out and then just rolls right over and dies, right? So I don't know if Justice Tip is still here, but I hope he heard that because he was asking about, oh, my mouse just died. Okay, good. Yeah, so Consumer Price Index. The other two big ones that you're going to want to pay attention to, obviously, is going to be FOMC when Powell talks, and like GDP, jobs claims, that kind of stuff. Reason for asking about Pets is chairman of the board, of course, for more stock. Yeah, but again, if a chairman or an insider is buying a bunch of shares, the stock isn't going to do anything tomorrow or the next day because that would be the most blatant insider trading there is, right? So if they buy a bunch of stock, they could be anticipating something happening in 3-6 months even, okay? Because let's say that I'm, I don't know, Mark Zuckerberg, and I know that we're going to come out with a flying car tomorrow on Meta that nobody knows about, and I buy $50 billion worth of my own stock, and the next day it gets announced and the stock goes up 50% and I make, a couple $1 billion. That's an obvious insider trading, right? And that's where you go into jail. So just because a chairman bought, 141% more stock doesn't mean that something's going to happen in the next few days. Yeah. So I don't know, but keep it on your radar, right? Put it on a watch list because pets is something that I may never look at again. But if you have it on your watch list, some news pops off on it in a couple months, but you kept it in the back of your mind, then boom, you're there. You already kind of have a trade idea around it, and you're going to be one of the first people that can kind of pounce on that and make money. Which time frame would you say is more commonly looked at? 10-minute or 15-minute? Definitely the 15-minute chart. Yeah, definitely. Let's see here. We got about 15 more minutes, guys. What else do you have for me? I like these questions. Keep it coming. Rivian, yeah. So to me, Rivian, like Lucid, are going to move second influence investment. Okay, so to me, that's interesting. I know that they had an investment. I don't know, when was it? It looks like it was back here during the summer. That's why I remember it. So that's obviously positive. Rivian's a company that's obviously hasn't been very good recently. They were a hot stock back when EVs were just all kind of IPOing and all coming to the market, right? Rivian, Lucid, Neo, stuff like that. So I think that this Volkswagen news could, like, for a short-term trade, to me, it makes sense. There may also be like a long-term aspect to it. If Volkswagen's throwing billions of dollars at them, they're wanting them to stay alive. They're wanting them to make money in the long run. So could it be a good long-term investment? Possibly. I don't know. But short-term, to me, like these Volkswagen things are just kind of short-lived. A couple days of action, maybe. Take it, get out of here. Cool. All right, Fruit. See you in the morning. I'm not live trading tomorrow, but I'll be at the desk. Yeah, Thursday I'll be around. I'm moving tomorrow, pretty much. I'll be in the chats though. Frankie, are you trading break and retest? Yeah, I do trade break and retest sometimes for sure. They're probably my second favorite setup, just because it offers a really good risk to reward. Any other questions? Any tickers? You can ask anything. It doesn't have to be about necessarily trading related, but Johnson GLXG absolutely murdered on September 13th. I don't know. To me, that doesn't look like something that I want to be involved in. It's gone from $17 to sub $1 in the last 3 weeks. Again, not something that I want to just be like dip buying for no reason. I would just erase that from my mind, to be honest with you. Thoughts on MSTR? So again, MSTR has done a whole lot like 2 weeks ago. Big run, right? Bitcoin over 100,000. Wow, Bitcoin's moved like $2,000 since we've been on this. I guess I'll pull up the chart here. So yeah, MSTR, to me, I want to be involved on like breakouts, like runs like this. I don't care to trade it in like a range like this when it's just kind of going up and down, chopping around. So I have these like little bubbles there that I drew for someone earlier in this stream. So to me, when it gets close to 450, I'm interested. When it gets close to like 360, I'm interested. Other than that, from a day trading perspective, I'm not a huge fan right here. That being said, though, I do think that, obviously MSTR is going to follow Bitcoin. If Bitcoin continues higher, I think MSTR will continue higher. That's like if you take anything away from what I just said, if you're going to be interested in MSTR, you got to be paying attention to Bitcoin very closely. They have billions and billions of dollars of actual Bitcoin. Ethan, you talk about Google. I have a long-term call option contract. Okay. Google had some good news recently. I remember. Yep. It was this morning or last night. Yeah. So, I'm interested in Google. I'm if I was here today, I probably would have looked to trade it this morning. I wasn't at my desk this morning, but right here, like I'm not going to try to chase it tomorrow, but if this gets back up to near 190, all-time high is 190, 175. So I'd be interested there. Why? One, it's all-time highs. Two, you got a kind of a positive catalyst here, but look what Apple just did, right? Broke all-time highs, moves 10 points. Look what Meta just did. Tesla's at all-time highs. Amazon's at all-time highs. Netflix at all-time highs. What else? It's kind of like, the main ones, but you see what I mean? Like Google, yeah. I mean, I'm definitely interested in this. I think it's kind of a little late to the party, but a lot of these Mag 7 mega cap stocks have done really well. So definitely some opportunity there. Gabriel's. What else y'all got? I got about 5 to 10 more minutes here. Thoughts on Tara? Got in at 570 and raised stop loss to 610. Executed. Reached 680 after a strong rally yesterday. Offered. So offerings are definitely tough, right? I just typed in offerings as a ticker. So offerings suck because like GameStop, they had a lot of them, right? When a company that doesn't do a whole lot for years and is a really cheap company, and on some random news or whatever it is, stock goes from this one from $3 to 11, right? If I'm a chairman or if I'm on the board of this Tara company and my shareholders, guys that own 5, 10, 20% of the company, I'm doing an offering, right? I'm selling stock to the public and I'm putting cash in our pockets because our company just 4 times in value overnight, right? And the whole job of CEOs, board members is to have the best interest for the shareholders, okay? Not necessarily stock traders. So offering definitely screwed it. To me, I have, again, this is just my personal opinion, my style of trading. I have less than 0% interest in trading something that goes from $2 to 10 because 99% of the time, a penny, this is again why I don't trade penny stocks. A company, penny stocks that go from less than $1 or whatever up 500% or whatever it is, 99% of the time, they're going to come right back to where they were. Because why would a company worth $500 million and the next day it's worth $3 billion? How does that make sense, right? Over 5 years, that can make sense, but overnight it doesn't. So if I was forced to trade penny stocks, I would be shorting moves like this. I would be the guy trying to short at $9, $10, $11 because it just came from 3. You know what I mean? So I don't want to like tell you to do anything specifically, but I think that there is a lot bigger chance for this to come back down under $5 than to go back up there. I think a little bit of homework for you, Hank, is to look up the dates of when GameStop had offerings and then go look at how their price reacted. Because like the last time GameStop squeezed, went from like 20 to 50 overnight. They had an offering that morning, and I was at the trading firm during the summer when that happened, and guys knew that was happening, right? They got the news at 10 o'clock at night or whatever, and they showed up to the office at 3 in the morning because when the market opens at 4 a.m. Central, it was like a huge short. Millions and millions of dollars that they shorted on GameStop stock, and it dropped from 40 to 25 or whatever, and they made a ton of money. So, and then GameStop didn't really do a whole lot. So I think just, doing homework and doing little like projects and, stuff like that, critical thinking on this stuff is good. So I think some good homework for you is to go look at when GameStop had offerings, look what the stock did. I can promise you it was up. They had the offering, the stock got, crushed, and then see how it reacted. Daniel W., what's up? Scalp trading, wondering if you did that using limit orders. Yeah, so I mean, look, if you're going to scalp and go quick, you're most likely going to have to do market orders. unless you can get really fancy. But all right, Hank, yeah, for sure. Thanks for being here. We got a couple free guys in here. I'll go ahead and I'll throw the 5-day free trial link in here for y'all in case some of y'all haven't tried it out yet. Here's the link. You can try a premium out for 5 days for free, no credit card, nothing. You don't have to put it down. You'll get inducted on Monday. So you're not going to get it at all this week. We do that so you can have a full Monday through Friday rather than getting it on a Wednesday and, trying to trade with us Wednesday, then you're going to have 2 days of the weekend, right? So there you go, just in case. I love that, Gabriel. It's good. Well, keep at it, right? That's where the big money's made. That's where the real traders are. There are guys that trade penny stocks and make a good living, but I would say the majority of big traders, they're not trading little small cap tiny penny stocks. At least at hedge funds and stuff like that. There are guys that do it, and there are computers that do it. Thanks, Carl. Well, you guys got anything else for me? I'm not live trading tomorrow, but I will be live for free Thursday morning. Thursday night, I'm doing a premium coaching lesson. But other than that, then Friday's premium live trading. But that's about it. Finished up my second to last semester today. Yeah, Daniel, for sure. Here, I'll if you're Latvian's friend, I'll definitely add you as a friend right now. You got to add me back real quick, and I'll send you the link in our DM so you can have it and just save it. Or just copy and paste that. Copy it and save it somewhere in your phone notes or something. Nice. Well, if you're friends with Latvian, then you're friends with me. All right, guys. Well, not seeing other questions, but I'll wait for about 1 more minute, and we'll call it a night. Yeah, Vant, you too. All right, guys. Well, as always, thank you for being here. And if you guys ever need anything, add me as a friend, DM me, at me, ping me in the chat. And yeah, I will see y'all on the next one. Have a good night. Bye-bye.